Okay, Ray, before we hop into your session, I was going to go over a couple things, just if I can answer any questions you might have beforehand. Before we connected, I pulled you some oracle cards. We're not going to go over them in the session, but I will send you pictures and guidebook descriptions because that'll be a deeper level of messaging. And then I asked each one of your chakras what kind of crystals would help with healing and growth. And so I built you a crystal grid, which I will also send you pictures of. And then I will have the replay of the session to you either today or tomorrow. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to read some of the notes that you left me here just so I make sure we get everything. So we wanted to focus on inner child healing, if there's any energetic trauma, karmic lessons, soul missions, soul contracts, and vows. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I did read the bottom notes that you left me as well, which we won't go over those in the recording. But thank you for leaving those as well. And if there's anything in those areas that you do want to speak about, we can do that as well. Okay. Are there any specific questions that you have before I get into the notes that your higher self gave me here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So before we get into any type of more human 3D stuff, right, that we might need to heal, I think it would be more pertinent to talk about one of these incarnations that came forward that wants to mentor you. Okay. So we'll talk about that. Okay. So when I went into your energy field, there was a being in there, and I was like, "Oh, hello," and I introduced myself. She was like, I already know why you're here," and I said, "Okay." So apparently, she had been, when you booked this session, she was like, "Okay, good." So she pointed at a portal door, and I was like, "Oh, what's in here?" And I opened the door, and she shoved me through the door, and then I was falling in the sky. Okay, almost like I was skydiving. And then she was next to me. And I was like, why did you just kick me through the door? And she was like, we're going to Alandor. And I said, okay, I'll spell it for you. Okay, so Alandor.
Wow.
Okay. And I was like, and I've never been to this place before. I haven't heard of this place. And she said the best way to get there is to fly. And I was like, okay. So, and I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now that I'm like dropping out of the sky? And she's like, don't you have wings? And I was like, oh yeah. And I popped out these dragon wings that I have. It's so funny. And she was like, oh, dragon. She was like, nice. And when I saw her originally, this is not what she is. At first, I was like, are you an elf? But she wasn't. She had these wings that came out, and they kind of look like not angel wings, but if you could think of like a big giant white bird, like an albatross kind of. But that's not what
Okay.
she is. That's not what she is either. Okay, so just wait. So we landed on the ground in this like really big field, and there was almost like this kind of jungle that was out in front of us. And I don't know why I did this, but have you ever seen police officers that drive on these kind of like Segway things? They like have handlebars, right? And okay, like motorized scooters. I got on one, and she was like running next to me, and we were headed into the jungle, and she was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, this is a Segway." I was like, "It's like a hoverboard." And she was like, "Why are you using that?" And I was like, "Because I would rather use this than having to walk through the jungle." And she was like, "Okay." Like, I don't know why I did that. And I asked her if she wanted one, and she was like, "No, that's not natural." And I said, "Okay." So she was just running next to me. So we go into this jungle-esque area, and she said that we needed to go to this temple. It kind of was very like Mayan-esque, but not obviously because this is like a different world. Okay, but just for the imagery. So we go into this temple, and she was like, "I need you to come look at these tablets." And I said, "Okay," but it wasn't exactly like tablets. It was more like a book, right? That you could. Does this sound familiar? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you had?
I've
Okay,
been, I've been
okay,
getting
okay.
into some tablets lately.
You've been getting into what?
Tablets, actually,
Oh,
lately.
okay. Well, that's probably why she showed me a tablet. Okay. So, because I was like, this isn't exactly a tablet, it's more like a book. So, I walk up to it, and she was like, I need you to project into it. And I said, okay. So I touched the tablet, the book, and she was like, what do you see? And I was like, I see a mountain. And she was like, okay, what else do you see? And I was like, I don't see anything else. She was like, I need you to try harder. I was like, okay. was like, all right. So I just sat there for a minute and I was like, okay, I see snow. There's snow everywhere. She's like, what else do you see? And then I looked up and there was this huge dragon that went over my head. And I was like, okay. And then I looked down and there's like these little creatures in the snow and I like picked them up and they were kind of like lizard-esque, if you will. And she was like, okay, now come back. And so I came back. And in the time of me coming back, I saw her where she was kind of like lizard-esque herself. And then she kind of like turned into like this cat being almost. And I was like, oh, you're a shapeshifter. That's what you are. Like she can really take on the embodiment of like really anything that she wants. Okay. So I saw her in like many different facets. So she was telling me that these tablets are a living, breathing history book of Alandor. And she said if you touch the tablets, you can go back through any time in history of this world and be there in real time. And not only that, you can actually interact with like the different beings that are from here because there's a lot of different type of creatures that live here. Okay. So what you are going to be able to do is able to channel from these tablets. Because I was like, how is this going to help Ray in this incarnation? Okay. So she said that on Earth specifically, that a lot of the magical fantasy lore that we have, not necessarily like mythology, but like some other stuff. Like she was like kind of like wizardry things and just like fantasy beasts and things like that. She said a lot of that's actually coming from Alandor. It's people remembering from there that live on Earth that create these like fantasy books and fantasy movies and all this different stuff. Okay. So she said a lot of people are actually channeling from there in their times and spaces. And so she was saying that if you wanted to, you could write a book and it would be extremely popular because and I was like, well, what do you have to do with this tablet? Okay. And she said she's a guardian of the tablet and you are a guardian of the tablet via her because y'all are one of the same soul group. So she said you would have, and I said, does everybody have access to this? She was like, no. And so, but you would have direct access to this. And so not only could you pull from her time and space that she's in, but that you could go through the different layers of time through this book and pull down like all these different facets that you need and make it either an adult book or you could make it a children's book. Obviously, you don't have to do that. She was just saying that's one application. Another one is you could meet all these different beings from all these different places and you could do a billion different things. Okay. Like the sky is kind of the limit. But she was like, if you want a human applicable thing that you could do this, you could write a book and it would be very popular and very successful. Okay. So she said that, oh, there's some other stuff too. Okay. So do you know how to astral project within yourself to other dimensions?
So I am unsure because most of my meditating happens before I go to bed.
Got it. Okay.
A lot of my work is there, but I do try to channel my other incarnations and see where we go from there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're already getting into it. Okay. So she was saying if you want to work with her and you want to work with this tablet, it will teach you how to more finely tune your astral projection abilities.
Okay.
To other dimensional spaces. It's almost like a supercharger conduit, if you will. Okay. And then she can just teach you how to utilize it as a portal so that when you go to other places and spaces, it's easier for you to portal.
Okay.
Okay. She also said that you have lived many incarnations on Alandor. Okay. A lot of incarnations. So it is embedded into your DNA sequencing, even in this incarnation. So one, it's going to be very easy for you to have access to all this stuff. Okay. But also with your magical girls. Okay. So because you are their mother, when you start to awaken this DNA sequencing within yourself, it's going to awaken it with them. So there's going to be a reactionary chain. And then they
Okay.
are also going to have access to these different places and spaces within Alandor. Okay. So, and let me fix my camera really quick. I apologize. Hold on. So I said, oh, well, you know, kids have their own soul contracts. Okay. We don't need to be doing stuff, you know, impeding on their stuff. And your higher self was like, no, they already, it's already taken care of. Like, she was like, no, they asked to do this. And I said, okay. So that DNA sequencing is going to serve them in the future as well. So don't worry about like, oh, well, I don't want to change something. Their higher selves have already said yes. Okay. So her name is Althea, and I will spell it for you. And it's so funny, before we got onto the session, right beforehand, I had gone on Instagram, and as soon as I went on Instagram, a girl named Althea popped up on my feed. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So it is Althea.
All right.
Now she said you can call her Althea. She has many names, but that will be the one to connect you all together. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll be giving us real human names so that we, you know, have a tangible connector. Okay. So she said she could call me Althea. So I asked her if there was any advice that she had for you, or any wisdom or instructions or anything. And the only thing she said to me was tell her to stick to the path. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And she was like, she knows what it means. I said, okay. So she didn't give me anything else after that. Any questions about this before we move on?
No, I think that's so interesting. That is incredible, actually. Just, I used to write when I was younger.
That's what your higher self was showing me, that you used to write things. Yeah.
Yeah, but then something happened in the 3D life, and it caused me to shut that door. So it's so funny to see this. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, because
cool.
kind of like the portal door she kicked me through.
Yeah, and pushed you through it, 'cause I'm like, okay,
She was
how
like,
can I
go.
get that back? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
Awesome. Okay.
what I would do with her is I would connect with her through the ethers, kind of like you're doing, like before bed, or whenever you have the opportunity, and ask her to come forward and just show you whatever you need to see.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, and y'all work this out. And then if you end up wanting to write that book, your higher self was like, it will be very successful. Okay, so take that advice from her, okay? Because, you know, yeah, maybe you write the next Harry Potter series. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Do you mind if I run and turn my air conditioner down really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I'll be
you're
back in
fine.
2 seconds. Sometimes when I'm channeling, I get super hot, so I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay. Okay. So you said no more questions about that specifically.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Awesome. And then, and honestly, it's probably not time for your girls to come in contact with Althea, but you could always ask her to be one of their mentors. Like if that's what their higher self agrees to with their contracts and things of that nature, you could ask her to potentially mentor them as well, like in divine timing, like whenever that is needed.
Okay, that's cool, because we do teach them to try and do grounding meditation before they go to sleep, and put their bubble up to help replenish before they sleep.
Yeah, she would be a good guide for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
So going into another section of your field, I saw that you have lightning magic. So some people are very proficient in like fire, water, air, you know, earth, all these different things. You have a proficiency in lightning magic, and so that can be utilized in a couple different capacities for you specifically. And I have only done this once myself because I'm not as proficient as in what you were able to do. When you are trying to portal jump, or you are trying to read timelines, or are you trying to heal other people, sometimes there's a lot of layers that you have to work through etherically or in the Akasha fields. And sometimes you can have almost kind of like this like sluggish feeling, kind of like slowing down because of all the things that you're having to like work through. You can
Yeah.
actually call on lightning, the element, to propel you faster through the fields. Again, I've only done that one time myself, but it was very beneficial when I needed it. Okay, so if you're trying to seek answers, if you're trying to seek knowledge, if there's any time that you're in the ethers and you just feel very like sluggish and bogged down because of, you know, various things that are going on, you can channel that energy to propel you in a way that you can unlock this within yourself. Your higher self was saying is to listen to thunderstorms, like on YouTube, and just listening
Yeah,
to like
okay.
lightning storms. She was like, just you listening to those videos with the conscientious knowledge now will help you understand how to work with that element.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
That's yeah.
Then I went to a different section of your field and I saw Anubis. Do you know who he is? He
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's the Egyptian god of the dead, and he's in charge of funeral rites and things of that nature, before Osiris took over. So I saw a memory of you in a different incarnation speaking to him, and you were kind of like looking up at him, and you were kind of like being sassy, like talking to him. And you were a student of his.
Okay.
And I was
Ugh.
trying to gain more information, but I wasn't there in real time. It was only a memory that your higher self was showing me. And so I was trying to speak to you and him, but y'all couldn't hear me because it was only a memory. Unlike when I was in Alandor, that's actually like happening in real time, right? And so Anubis was like talking to you, and I was like, oh, he's a teacher, you're his student. But that's all I gleaned from that. So that's probably something that you're going to need to go in and do some more discovery around, because sometimes I'm only meant to see certain things and open
That's
the window and the
incredible.
door. Okay. But
Okay.
you did work with him.
And you called him the god of the dead?
Yes, the guy, like he's the
Yeah.
caretaker of the souls who have passed on to the other side in Egyptian mythology.
Okay.
So that could be, you know, there could be a lot of different gifts or abilities that come forward with that, or knowledge, or it might even be to help you with portal jumping because the underworld is a portal. So they might have an interconnectedness with one another.
That's yeah. That's incredible. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then I asked if there was anything else that your higher self wanted me to relay to you. And she said, tell her I think she's fabulous.
Oh, I love you too.
And she said, she said, tell her I think she's fabulous. I said, okay. Because she said she was showing me where sometimes you're very difficult on yourself because
Yes.
of
Uh,
the way that you were raised and everything that you went through. And you're like very hyper vigilant about the way that you raise your children, because you don't want them to, you know, experience, and your higher self wants you to really understand. Okay. I know I'm sorry to, okay. Wants you to really understand that they will never, ever experience what you experienced by your hands or anybody else's.
that's right.
Okay. Yes, they are might go through hardships in their life and challenges because that's what they chose to do, right? But they will not experience the energetic hardships that you experienced when you were a child.
So that's
Okay.
the goal.
So she said, hey, we need to give ourselves some grace and compassion. Okay. And not overanalyze ourselves 24/7.
Because we are light and we are love.
Yeah, yes. Those sweet angel babies are just fine. Okay. So
Oh,
we need to cut ourselves some slack, okay? Because
okay.
the damage that we can actually do is us
I
being
know what I'm working on
so
too.
hyper vigilant and stressed and anxious that we are damaging them, right?
Right. Yep.
Like, okay.
I'm like, no,
Right.
can't.
Where if they just had a mom that was just like, nope, I'm the best mom.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Because
I'm,
look at
um,
all the stuff that I survived and
yep.
I
That's it.
am thriving. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So she was like,
Because we
let's
are.
take some of that pressure off. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Just from the sheer fact that you have dedicated, I can see you have dedicated to make sure that they are magicians in this lifetime.
Oh, we're trying. Yes.
Yes. Oh, there's no
Yes.
trying, you're doing.
It was.
I even wrote
Mhm.
two girls with the magic. Yes.
We write it too.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah, they're gonna be two magicians in this lifetime.
Once I realized
Or
that,
sorcerers, whatever, sorceresses, whatever they want to call themselves, but they will be those in this lifetime.
oh, my loves. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So don't worry about them so much. Okay. They're gonna be all right. Okay.
Okay. Good.
They're gonna surpass you too. So watch out for that.
Yeah. In many ways. Many, many
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, how did y'all get so magical? Okay. It's because they had a mother figure who allowed that to happen and who facilitated that and who made sure that they remembered the old ways. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most important. That's what we're doing
Yes.
right now. Homesteading and yeah, really, truly.
Do
Hmm.
you mind if I ask how old they are?
They are both on the cusp of their birthdays in June and July. So they're about to turn 13 and 7.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Just just remember because I have a teenager right now that we were teenagers ourselves one day. Okay.
Yes.
And there was a lot of angst and hormones and all these different things. But
Yes.
just because they go through that does not mean they won't come back around and then be up in their magic again. Okay.
Because it's just about her knowing that she still has that light for when
Yes.
she wants to go there. Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You just keep on holding that framework within yourself. And it sounds like your partner is also on that
Yeah.
same path. Yeah.
Yes.
So y'all just keep holding that framework and that will do more for them than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Thank
tell
you.
my son
I
every single day, have a magical day. And he's like, why do you keep saying that? Like, oh, there's no magical, all this stuff. I'm like, have a magical day.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
right. Oh,
Okay. So what is blocking you up right now, Ray? Because all these questions that you had is giving very much, oh, I feel like there's some stuff that's blocking me or impeding me and I can't figure out why and I just want to move through it. Per your
yeah. Mm.
questions about kind of like inner child healing, trauma, karmic lessons, contracts, vows. To me, that kind of sounds like or what I'm energetically picking up from that is there is something wrong with me and I don't know how to get over it. And not necessarily something wrong, but there's like
Missing.
we feel like there's more blocks than there's actually blocks. And at that point you're actually creating more blocks within yourself because we are seeking blocks. Does that make
I don't.
sense?
Yes. I
Okay.
think I was trying to uh over open anything because I have been doing, you see it, all the work and
I do. I
oh
do. I see that you're trying to dig in and see if there's any
everything.
Akashic karma down in there that you need to clear out.
Yes, maybe because life had been so hard, but then at the same time, I do know that I agreed to have the hardship and the trauma in my life to bring
Hmm.
me thus far so that once I was here now and I was putting in the work and I was doing the shadow work and being like, okay, why did this happen? What can I learn from it? I've done things that I'm very not proud of.
Mhm.
And so it takes a lot of work to be able to go back in and be like, okay, I could have done this better, but that is what I did at the time. And I made the best decision that I could with the tools that I had. And I
Mhm.
had to like forgive myself and then put that energy out there so that hopefully the people that I gave, I hurt and whatever are at peace now and like those things, you know what I mean?
I do.
And so I think I'm still just like, family is very important to me, but I've moved very far away from my immediate family. And so the connection's not the same. And I understand why our lives are different. And so without like, I think that guidance, I feel a little lost
Mm-hmm.
sometimes because I am very used to second guessing myself. But I've gotten a lot better on it because I am light, I am love, I am magic, and I am creating wonderful things and I'm doing wonderful things and I've made conscious changes because when you shift identities,
Mm-hmm.
we jump back and then we
Mm-hmm.
kind of fall back in to keep us from reawakening and so I'm back and I've been back and um I've gotten a lot better with the things, but I think uh in quite a few words that is what it is and maybe what I'm struggling.
Okay. What I'm hearing when you're saying is you're human,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
is is upset about the shift in family dynamics, whether that's location or just whatever that means. Okay.
We're
And
making peace
I
with it.
also go ahead.
We're making peace with it.
Yes. But it still hurts. Like we get that.
Yeah.
Like we want to hold grace and compassion for that and that grieving process and the shifting and all of that. Like we definitely want her to be able to feel her feelings.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So do you have anybody that is taking care of you?
Like like yeah, yeah. My man, yeah, my husband is incredible. He's got me 150% always. Anything I need. Yeah.
Is there anybody who is taking care of you in a spiritual sense?
No. No,
Okay.
just we're doing the
Yes.
things. Yeah.
We need to find, I was just having a conversation with somebody about this yesterday. Okay. There was a
Okay.
time period in my life where nobody was on my level. And I also don't have my grandparents that passed on to the other side, do not have a good relationship with my biological mother. So I felt very lonely and isolated because I did not have a type of mother figure that I needed in my life in the physical and in the spiritual realms. And
Okay.
okay. And I said, you know what? I'm going to find some spiritual guides to step in and be my soul tribe members and my peers until I actually find those humans here.
Okay.
So I don't know necessarily that Althea is that person. Okay, Althea doesn't give that type of energy.
Yeah, she's very
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So
abrupt or
yes,
yes.
yes, okay. But we love her, okay.
Yes, we do.
um, but there were some beings that I found like Hathor was one of them. Holy Amethyst, Mary Magdalene, um, just some representors of our Green Tara or Kuan Yin, some very motherly figures, and they were all trying to come forward to help me heal those mother wounds and also mother me at the same time. And I was very resistant to that because of trauma. Okay. Specifically with women. Okay. And so they're like, please just let us help you. And it wasn't until my friend Andrea told me one day, she was like, you will not move forward in life until you work on this wound, until you allow someone to mother you. And I said, okay. Okay. And take care of you, okay? Because what she meant on that on a deeper level was I had a lot of mistrust in the universe and being taken care of, and being in my divine feminine energy and allowing
Mhm.
and letting go, because you probably had to be in your masculine energy most of your life for safety protective measures. So in allowing these female archetypes to step forward and help me and mother, oh, it was so intense. I'm just gonna let you know, okay? Like, even now, like feeling back then, okay, it's really intense. There's a lot of deep, deep, deep trauma, not only from this incarnation, but multitudes of incarnations. Okay. So you don't have to do this, but your higher self is like, if we allowed a team of motherly figures to come in and serve us in that capacity, and not serve, but like serve us in that capacity, it
So
would
much better.
create massive ripple effects in your energetic field, not only yours, but also your daughters.
Oh, then we got to do it. I think that would be
Well,
super
don't do it
important.
just for your daughters. You need to do it for
No,
you.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
You need to do it for you. Okay. Yeah. Yes, for you.
Mhm.
Yes. And it can be whomever that you resonate with.
Okay.
Like for me, it was Hathor and Mary Magdalene and a couple other figures. You find whom best is for you, because the beautiful thing about that is that when you start feeling safe with them and you start feeling that energy, it actually attracts people that are like them in the 3D human plane to you. So
Okay.
after I worked with them, then I met one of my soul tribe members, and I wouldn't say that she is necessarily a mother figure to me, but she does serve that role, and it has been one of the most healing things possible. So you will find the 3D human representors of them.
Okay.
Okay, what comes up for you when I say that?
Well, I think I have a couple people. I think possibly my spirit family, but right now, with the lifestyle, because homesteading is
Mhm.
hard on the spirit and the body, and we get tired, and so we're all just kind of going through some emotions right now. But I think I totally have a couple of them. We're just in a funk, and so I think that's another reason it's so important for me to, like Althea said, stick to the path and be here now and remember, and because I have gotten pulled
Mhm.
in the process and in these years, and so every day I wake up and I'm here, and every night I go to bed and I'm thankful. So,
Mhm. You need somebody to hold you. Like really, really energetically hold you and let you. I'm not trying to make you cry. Okay? I'm not about to cry. You need someone to hold you like a child. That, and let you purge all of the hardships that you've had to endure over these years. And probably, and hardships don't always mean like tough stuff too. Like raising kids is really hard. Okay? Being a partner is really
it's
hard.
fun, but yeah, like both.
Yeah. Being a spiritual person in this world is very hard. Okay. And I don't think that you have had a person that you can purge all that stuff with and just kind of like let all of that completely out.
Yeah.
That's where they're like, hey, let us be those persons for you. And at the same time, they are going to give you so much knowledge and wisdom,
Okay, I'm ready for it.
especially in the ways of feminine energy, not female energy, but receiving, allowing yourself to be supported and blessed, and really just open you up to a new level of prosperity and abundance. That comes with feminine energy. And you got to let them take care of you so you can learn that lesson, okay, of what it means to be taken care of.
Okay.
Yes, and they're not saying that it is going to take a long time either. Like relatively, it feels like that because we're still working in like this time and space. But for your soul as a whole, like you're gonna move through that very quickly.
Yes, yes, that's something else I'm working on is I'm like, oh, I was asleep for a couple years. I wasted so much time. And then I'm like, wait, no, no, I didn't because I needed that time to fall asleep so that I could wake back up and be like, oh dang. And consciously put in all this effort to be exactly where I'm at now and continue to where we're going.
Yes, I would even take it a step further to okay, you decided to be a mom here. Okay, and your kids have probably kept you here too. Okay, because
They have, girl,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
They
because I have a
have.
son and you know what? Okay. So
Mhm.
so you probably also were like, okay, well, I'm gonna be the guardians of these souls. I need to go first and I need to learn how to get out of the earth matrix, okay, so that they have someone to help them on their own soul contracts, right? Just like my son, he is going through programming and all this stuff that I didn't even implement into
They're
him.
so
It is a
yeah.
collective consciousness paradigm, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
We
it's
don't introduce it
you're
and
not
they still
you're
get it.
even farther removed and they still go through it. Yeah. It's something that they birthed into, right? But what a blessing to have a soul that said, I
Yes.
will be y'all's guardians and I will do this. So I will teach y'all how to get out.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing, right? That doesn't help our human feeling good because you're like, that sucks. Right.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, and
Yeah. And
truly, I
then
know because
go ahead.
that's what keeps going is knowing why. Having that bigger picture,
Mhm.
knowing the bigger purpose, it keeps you
Yeah.
from drowning in the momentary
Mhm.
hardships.
Your baby girls also are going to be very instrumental in the new earth as the magicians. Okay.
Yes,
So
we understand that.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So um you probably had to take on a little bit of a harder role, okay, to make sure that you have the framework to give them so that they don't have to experience, all of that stuff so they can do what they want to do here. So 'cause I could see you having like a conversation with them beforehand and saying like, okay, I will make sure that y'all are set up in the easiest way possible.
That's why that's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah. And that's
Mhm.
probably also why you've chosen to be a little bit more remote because magical beings of light that are very advanced and that are very different from others get picked out very easily.
Mhm.
Right. I was actually homeschooled until I was in ninth grade. And I look back and I was so angry about that when I was a child. I was so angry for many, 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 many years. And then as I got older, I was like, oh, yeah, I had to be homeschooled. Okay. Like, I
Go to
had to
public
be homeschooled.
school, but yes, I get
Yeah.
it. Mhm.
Okay. So, but I will say, I eventually went off to high school. Like that was just part of my soul path and my soul plan to do that, right? To go through what I
Okay.
needed to do. But, you know, you're doing what y'all contracted to do previously. Okay.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, if that changes in the future and they hard press you on it, you got to remember they're their own
Yes.
beings.
Yes,
Okay.
we will with the thing.
But at least for their formative years, you have been able to set them up with a stronger foundation.
Yep,
Yes.
that's our job.
Yes. Okay. So when I was reading your bottom notes and it said we're working through like wasting time of our family dynamics, right? I asked your higher self, is that something that we need to dig into? And she said, not really. Because when I read it, I was like, "Oh, that is a trauma point right there. We need to talk about." Right? And she was like, "No, you don't really need to talk about it." So,
Cool.
okay,
I'm working on it, yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah, actively, yeah, doing some active work on that. Okay, So are there any places that you feel that are needing light shown on it? Because to me, when I'm looking at your fields, I'm not really seeing anything that you're not already actively working on. Like when I'm looking at inner child trauma, or when I'm looking at, and I will say that when I'm doing sessions with people, stuff usually immediately pops up. It's like, hey, these are blind spots. These are blind spots that we need to see. These are how things are connected. This is why these things happen, all this stuff. When I'm looking at your field, your higher self's just like, she already knows. It's more about the stage that you're in is integrating your human with your multidimensional self while still holding grace and compassion. So like you already see and know all the things. So you've already kind of advanced through that stage.
I think I knew that, and that's why I was finally ready to start reaching out to you, because those were the steps I didn't know how to take myself.
Yes.
I would reach out and I would be like, okay, I want to channel my other selves before I'd fall asleep, my higher self, things like that. The no space.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh, we
where
can talk about that. Yeah.
and then I would try to work on that, but I didn't know where to really to go.
Yes.
Who to look for, what to pull in. And I'm cautious because I don't like opening myself up. I use the very specific word that has to be for to serve my highest good and my highest purpose, so that I don't open myself up to anything, because I've been in contact with other things, lower vibrational things, in my past and stuff. So
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that in your field. You've been portal jumping for a long time and timeline jumping and things of that nature. So you've seen a lot of things. Okay. So we also know like what's out there. And okay, baby channelers, baby portal jumpers, they don't really see that stuff as much. It's when you have access to a lot of different dimensional places that's when more stuff starts opening up. So that's why we don't ever want to rush the process, and we want to make sure we have tools and resources, right? Yeah. Okay. So what are the fears right now around opening yourself up? Because at the same time, I can also see that you have tools and resources, and you're not really trusting the tools and resources that you have. Like we're not actually like I can see that you have like this almost like this just for the human imagery, okay, like this tool belt that you're wearing, okay, and what I'm seeing you doing is like you're looking down and you're only looking in 3 pockets, okay, and your higher self is like, why are you not looking at the rest of the belt? Like, what are we doing? Okay. Because and they're not actually tools and resources.
And I'm like,
But it's
why
like
can't
knowledge and wisdom of like, right. But it's almost like you are putting self-imposed blockers on yourself with your abilities. So like where do we think that is coming from? Why are we afraid when we don't actually need to be afraid?
I fear of the unknown. The unknown is daunting. I think for a long time, because of my programming and the trauma and all the things with the portals and whatever, I was afraid of knowing all the tools that are in my tool belt. Because what if I make a bad decision?
Okay.
And so now that I have finally worked through all the things, I'm ready. I want to know like what's there and how to use them, because I have control now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where your higher self is trying. I'm gonna draw a picture that your higher self wants me to show you. Okay. So it's gonna be rudimentary. Okay. Okay. So okay, can you see this circle?
Yes.
Right. This is Earth. Okay, and this is our incarnation right now. Okay, so this is a known Akasha field for most people.
Yeah.
Okay, you already know how to traverse that.
Okay.
Okay, when you first started traversing it, you didn't have the tools and resources, so you saw a bunch of scary things. Okay,
Yeah.
not just in this incarnation, like other incarnations. Okay, so
Okay.
that is
Yeah.
one identity of Ray and her soul group. Okay, so now what's happening is you're starting to expand outside of the known Akasha field, and you're like, oh, well, what the heck is out there? Okay, because let me tell
Yeah.
you what I saw, which wasn't making sense when I saw it at first, but now it does. Um, when I was coming out of your energy field, I felt these gills. Oh, my camera, hold on. I felt these gills on my sides. And I was like, okay. And then I started diving into the ocean, and there was like this huge, like almost like a megalodon, but not. It was like from some other type of planet, but it was like some huge fish thing. And then I was like, oh, I'm some type of fish thing. Okay. But more like human-esque. And then I started diving even deeper, and then it just got super, super dark, like at the bottom of the ocean. And it was representative of kind of like what you're talking about right now, of like what the heck could be down there.
Hmm.
There could be some like big old things down there. Okay. Right. Okay. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I was like, that's so interesting. Why am I seeing this right now? But now it makes sense. Okay. So your higher self is like, yes, there potentially could be things down there, but also you have the toolkit to handle it. But your
Right.
old
Oh, sorry.
identity of first waking up and not having the tools is steering you into not going to those places and spaces.
I can see that.
Yes. But in those places and spaces, one, she was like, how do you even know that? Like, what if the beings that you're trying to reach at those depths are actually extremely high vibrational frequency beings? Because you've already kind of traversed through the lower realms. So,
Right.
like, we're kind of just now going up. Why are we assuming that like we're going up towards these like things that we don't want to perceive? Which I'm not saying that that won't ever happen. Like, I'm sure there's times in your Akashic field or memories or something where something wild was in there. Okay. But she's like, the more that you ascend frequency, the less that you encounter those things.
I know that too. I know that.
Yeah.
I think it's just the programming.
It's just the what?
Programming.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, yeah. And
Mm.
it's probably not even just programming. I think it's also because you have memories of other times and spaces that even you're not consciously aware of. It's like deep in your subconscious and deep in your Akasha field, and you're like, well,
Yeah, you just
I've
feel it.
seen things, okay. But so this is where we have to start talking to our human and to these other incarnations and say, my incarnation is not representative of yours.
Okay.
Okay. I appreciate having that knowledge and wisdom, but I have been working very diligently to raise my frequency in this one. Okay. Not that y'all have it. Okay. But I purposely want to become a channeler. And I have been working every day to clear out the heavy stuff that would attract other heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Really, truly.
Yes. I don't need y'all showing me all of those memories of those things, because if y'all do that, it is going to attract things. I am only going to focus on high vibrational beings that are in frequency match with my now resonance.
Yes.
Period. Sometimes we have to close the channels to other incarnations. Okay. Like, we don't need to see everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just
Drag
because,
relevant, yeah.
yeah. And they're probably doing that to protect you. Of like, hey, just so you're aware, all of these different things, you know what I mean? Like, hey, just
They're there.
dispersing,
Yeah.
right? Okay, that would be okay. That would be like if I went into the jungle and somebody was like, oh, there's Komodo dragons over here, right? Because there's Komodo dragons in this one jungle. I'm like, I'm in a completely different jungle over here. Okay,
Don't tell me about
there's
your
no Komodo
jungle.
dragons over here. Okay, like don't take your experience and overlay it and make me afraid. Okay, like okay. So, oh, you said what?
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yes, right. So, like, thank you for that for pre-warning me, because you know how people will project kind of their own fears on to keep you safe in like a loving way. I think that's because you have such open channels to all these other places and spaces. Like they're trying to pre-warn you about it. Like I don't need to know about that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. But that's not my timeline. I'm
Light
not
and love right here. It's all light
I'm
and love
not
right
I'm not a
here.
warrior of the beasts. Okay, in this incarnation, we're not doing that. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not today.
Okay, right. I'm not going into the shadow realms. I'm not doing all that stuff. Okay, right.
I'm there already. Okay.
Right, right. Like I've chosen a different path. Okay. So what is it exactly, as we finish up here, what is it exactly that you want to do? Like with these gifts and abilities? Like what are we searching for right now?
Oh.
Because that will help you
I
not see the things that you don't need either.
Yeah. I do a lot of things. I work in an ICU in this here and now. Right now, I'm a patient care tech, starting to go through the motions for prereqs things for like nursing eventually.
Cool.
So I learned to work with the body, but I lost my son when I was very young,
I
and
know,
then
I'm so sorry.
I was pregnant with Halo, so we went through all of that, and um so I've been on the side of that darkness and that loss and everything, and so I know that where I work now, it it gets hard for people to remember the spirit of a person, to
Mm-hmm.
have the compassion and the empathy, and they forget how scary it can be when you get sick enough to be put in an intensive care unit, or if you have a loved one who is. And so I find myself pulled to talk to people, to like help
Mm-hmm.
give them strength and guidance, and to remember that it's scary right now, but if like it's not over, they're like those kind of things, does that make sense? Or
Yeah.
if they have a
Yeah.
loved one that's sick, how to like I don't know,
Almost like a doula, not necessarily a death doula, but a um let me see the word your higher self is trying to say. Okay, I don't have a human term for it, but almost like a doula, but your higher self was saying there are some aspects of you that are able to channel directly from the angel realm.
okay.
And we need to dip a little bit more into those frequencies
Okay.
because a lot of people in the collective consciousness have resonance with angels,
Okay.
and they are going to be able to receive your messages and your healing more easily if you step into the angel form when you're speaking to them, because it's going to be easier for their subconscious and their human to receive higher level healing in the
Okay.
context of angelic healing, because it's so in the religion,
Yeah.
okay, in the
Okay.
matrix paradigm. Okay. So it's going to be easier for you to facilitate with them if you step into this angel form when you're speaking to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It would almost be like if there was this really high vibrational alien that came to speak with them,
Yeah.
and they're like, whoa, that's evil. I don't want that. All right. But then this angel came forward and they're like, yes.
Right.
Okay.
Angel better.
Yeah. So it'll be kind of like that bridgeway point for you. They're saying that would be a great way for you to amplify these abilities even more, is to project that from your fields. And you're going to have a
Okay.
lot easier time conversing with people, bringing the language down to where they need it.
hmm
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't
Thank
mean
you.
to interrupt you, but your higher self was like,
No, girl, you are fine. Get it. Yeah,
okay.
what I needed.
Okay. Your higher self wants me to ask your multi-dimensional self. Okay, not Ray. Ray just gave me that answer. Okay, which is beautiful. We love that. Okay. Multi-dimensional you. What are you trying to accomplish in the ethers? What are you looking for? What do you want? Yeah. What? Because you're about to go down this deep path of exploring the cosmos and all these different timelines and dimensions and all this stuff. So what are we wanting out of that?
I want to help raise the consciousness and the vibrational frequency.
What do you want for you?
Ooh.
What do you want for, and we love that too. Okay, we love that. What do you want for you?
I want to be able to step into all of it. My true higher self. I want to be able to, yes, channel and have all of it, have the peace come and know and live the light and the love. I need the peace though, I think. Because,
Okay.
yeah, I want to be peace, light, and love.
There is also in your archetype, I want to have as much knowledge and wisdom as I possibly can. I want to know all of the things. I want to know all, and it's almost like it's not even a remembrance at this point because you have a lot of remembrance. It's I want to know things other people don't.
Yes.
I want to be on the outskirts of knowledge and wisdom. Okay. Okay. So one, higher self is saying, we love helping other people. We love helping the collective consciousness. We love all that stuff. Okay. But then it's also okay to have your own goals and your own wants and desires for self. And it's also okay to want arcane knowledge and wisdom. It's also okay to spend time doing that. Okay. It's okay to spend time being a mom and helping everybody at the hospital and doing all these things. Okay. It's also not selfish for you to want to be this very enlightened's not the right word. This very wise being. Okay. Because you have all this knowledge that you have acquired. Okay. So the reason that she wanted to point this out is because you have this fear of running into things. Okay. But she's like, if you are seeking knowledge and wisdom, that is going to shift our perceptual lenses of what we're able even to see in the first place, because some of these things don't have anything to do with us, right? Like in the past, I was helping people with kind of like negative entity stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore. I said, these are the things that I want to focus on instead. And then that's all I've ever seen ever since. So that's why she's saying like, hey, what exactly is our end goal here? Okay, because we don't have an end goal, then we're just open to whatever.
Yeah, because it's kind of like I'm finally here now, like with all the work done, finding my tools. So yeah, I guess I don't really, I want to learn all the things I want to know out there is to and remember.
Yeah. So we need to say kind of like no to some other stuff. Like, I don't really need to work on my strength with like negative stuff. Like we've already like I don't
I'm learning
I don't need to do that.
Catch that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to do it, but I've done it a lot already. And just finding this information. And if you're not on my level and you're not willing to do your own work and put in your own things, I'm sorry, honey, I can't give you my energy now because it's mine. And light and love, I hope you find it, but it can't be me right now. Yeah. I just can't.
I want to, yes, that's for Ray, but on a bigger multidimensional cosmic level. We don't need to be doing that in the ethers as well on a big grand scale, because you have some incarnations that are trying to come forward to mentor you in those things of like, oh, this is how we battle these things. This is how we do this.
No,
We
yeah,
do that,
no,
right? So
don't
that's
want to
why
battle
that's why
anymore.
that's
Yeah,
right. That's why we just need
yeah,
to be like, I'm closing the channels. Like if y'all want to teach me other things,
yeah.
I don't want to do, I'm not doing that in this incarnation. I have girls I need to take care of. I need to make
Yeah,
sure they're set up in
right,
life.
all the way.
I'm not doing that this time.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. That is good to know.
And then
That
you're
is
not going to
so,
see those things because
no,
you're not open channels to them.
okay,
So that's why we need to set our multidimensional parameters of, hey, I want knowledge and wisdom that nobody else has. And I don't mean nobody, I mean like the general populace,
right,
you know what I mean? Or the general cosmos, right? I want ancient knowledge and wisdom that I can insert into the new earth paradigm here and into the collective that is going to help with that. That is what I'm looking for. Period. Okay.
yeah,
That's it. Okay.
yes,
Mhm.
thank you.
I'm going to give you an example
Okay,
for just one example. Okay. So we know about the reptilians, right? Which that's a whole programming in itself. Okay. That's like a whole thing. But okay. So old Ray, other incarnations of Ray, I need to learn how to take out the reptilians. I need to keep people safe. I need to do all this because that is going to help the collective consciousness. Okay. With it's not actually reptilians, it's just negative beings. Okay.
yeah,
Energy
right,
vampires, gaslighters, manipulators, whatever. Okay. Ray is in the new earth paradigm already. We don't have that stuff over there.
that's right, we are.
Okay, so like don't like we don't need to be looking at this stuff over here because we're already over here. Okay. So we need to close off the channels to all of that stuff because we're like, that's not even relevant to me in this incarnation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because that's so
Okay.
funny, yeah.
Yes. So we're just shifting gears.
All
Okay.
right,
Okay.
yeah.
With the angel thing, you know what I was saying as far as projecting that from your field and working more with that energy.
Not specifically.
Okay. So there is, you work with any angels right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So there's this lady on YouTube. Her name is Diana Cooper.
Okay.
She is like the angel lady. Okay. like
Okay.
just somebody that's very knowledgeable with that. I would check out her channel. It would
Okay.
probably be beneficial for you. And angels, researching about angels is very hit and miss because there's a lot of like religious context that comes with that. So Diana Cooper is a good person to look. Just
Okay.
asking some angel guides to come forward to be on your team to help you learn how
Okay.
to utilize that gift with people. You can pick a specific angels if you want. I would suggest for you female angels. There's a holy amethyst. She's really great. I
Okay.
worked with her.
I wrote her down. I did.
Yeah,
I wrote her down.
perfect.
Mhm.
Worked with her. Um, for you female angels for this context is going to be the best. You can probably find someone Diana Cooper's, or you can just go into your meditation and ask, like, hey, can you
Yeah,
give
that's
me a name? You can go on Google and type in female angels and read names, and whatever one sticks out to you, start there.
okay.
Okay. Have you ever done it? I don't think you need it, honestly, but your human might. Okay. Have you ever done an angel wing meditation?
No.
Okay. Again, I don't think that you need it, but I think your human does to give you a permission
Okay.
slip. So I'm going to send that to you to do.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
For the human. Put
Yes,
it down.
for the human. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I like that.
Any questions about anything else before we finish up?
No, ma'am.
Cool. Okay. Um, Anubis is probably going to help you with this, with
That
what
is,
he's
yeah.
doing in the 3D with the health things. Even though he's the caretaker of the, not the dead necessarily. He
Yeah.
right, longevity of life. Okay, he can help you in those areas as well. What was your biggest takeaway today?
Mm. The trust in myself.
You should, because I was talking on a lot of different layers and a lot of different planes, and you fully understood all the things I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it all hits in like some way in this like incarnation or another. It's incredible. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. It's just the trust in myself. And I
Yeah.
know that stems from the child trauma because I was in the situation where I got the positive reinforcement
Mhm.
to like instill that trust in myself. And so now I'm working through and learning to do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You'll get there. But it's always going to be something. Like we can always trust ourselves at deeper levels, right? Okay. So, yes. Okay, I'm gonna send you the angel wing meditation. I will send you your oracle cards and your crystal grid, and then I'll send you the replay as well.
Awesome.
Okay, and
Thank you so much.
remember your higher self said too, remember about this book from Alandor. Okay, she's very much like, hey, your 3D human could be very successful with this.
That's incredible. Yeah, like
Okay.
that's
Yes.
incredible.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. I hope you have a magical day. Okay.
You too.
All
You
right.
too.